What is normal? That is one of those words where we use it so often. What is normal? And that's different from every physician you talk to, every parent you talk to, every individual you talk to. So we have a hard time when we say, well, this kid's not normal. Well, what is your classification of normal, right? So as we start to approach these children, the things that I'm finding universally are that they're often very, very bright. Have you guys seen the same thing?
Absolutely.
Right. Some of the smartest kids you've ever seen. Anyone who's gifted and talented and has a passion for the world and a passion for making everything a better place, what an amazing, amazing thing that we want to actually continue to help promote these kids in feeling that it's okay to feel maybe that they're special. I think everybody's special. And when you recognize that whatever their special thing is, to help them further it so that they have a chance to blossom and become the most amazing individual, most amazing human being that they can be, that benefits the entire world in a positive way, then fine, use the label indigo. Makes no difference to me. But recognize that every child needs to have that love and that compassion and that patience to help them really expand to be the most incredible human being they can be.
And the storm clouds are lifting from the footsteps of yesterday's dreams, and I know.
Since 1992, according to data taken from the CDC, from the school districts around the country sending in data, autism, the incidence of autism has risen 800%. And every year it's raising about an average of 20%. And that's in relation to just overall all other developmental disabilities are still at about 1 to 3%. Autism keeps increasing, and it's probably not going to get any less. So there's a reason they're coming here.
What we find in some of the younger, highly sensitive children is a difference in communication abilities. Many of them seem to communicate mind to mind, or what science calls telepathically, with their parents. And it doesn't seem like it causes a problem until later on in life when the parent feels embarrassed that in social situations the child's not speaking verbally, or at school, of course. And so the diagnosis that these young, highly sensitive children are receiving is autism, or in some cases Asperger's syndrome. And the autistic spectrum is very broad. It goes all the way from a child who doesn't enunciate clearly, all the way to a child who seems to be in their own little world. Hey.
Right now I sing this song. I just hope you can feel it, don't you? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You wanna dance? Now's your chance. Get down, get down. Like James Brown, he's feeling the flow. I see his glow of godlight burning bright in this moment.
My one son, Dar, who I've been working with the last couple of years and who's emerging very beautifully out of autism and beginning to talk, and it's really exciting. I'm so proud of him. And I'm not going to talk about him anymore. I'll cry. Tears of joy. But he has a lot of sounds he likes to make. So he might go, right? And so then I'll go, is that for mum? And and I go, mum. And then the next thing you know, it builds from to mom to you're singing a song.
Sounds like God to me. I like this guy.
we start to communicate in a silent way underneath this game. You start to connect. It's no different than if I connect with you and we do any kind of conversing or any kind of being together, like maybe driving in a car and we both see the same beautiful thing and we're connected. It's the same. I'm creating an opportunity to connect with my child, and then he, in turn, does that for me.
With autistic kids, I know that there definitely been anecdotal comments about these kids having maybe more of a telepathic capability. That's why they're not as expressive. And I can't say that I've personally experienced it. I know that there are many people who told me about their experiences personally with these kids, but I can't speak on it personally. But again, you know, we talk about that extrasensory perception that, you know, we still don't use a significant portion of our brains. And you have to wonder whether something like that isn't possible.
I'm gonna make a little confession here. Okay, so at this time I was married, and I was a little fed up with my husband, I must say. I was standing there doing the dishes, and Dar's the only one not in school at the time, and he's over to the side, kind of, you know, doing his own thing. He does a lot of this, you know, you're kind of going like that, and looking into the world within. And I'm doing the dishes, and I'm imagining having an affair on my husband, because I met this guy that I thought was kind of cute. And I'm like thinking the thought, maybe I'll just have an affair. And as loud as can be, inside my head I hear, no. But the weird part was, it wasn't like, you know, when you think the thought no to yourself, or no, I'm not going to do that. It wasn't like that at all. Not only was it a voice, but it was a voice that I recognized as Dar's, which is believable because I'd heard him speak occasionally. So every once in a while, Dar would say something really out of his lips. Every once in a while, he'd go, I'll take that, or I'll do that. So I knew his voice when he would speak normally. And then he'd revert to these sounds and stuff. And so I heard this no in my head, and I look over at him, and he's looking at me, and he goes, no, 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 no. And he'd never done that. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid's reading my mind. He's listening to me think.
You know, if we see indigo children or the way they express themselves as a nuisance or a bother or something that's difficult to deal with, then we're going to treat it one way. If we see it as an enormous gift, an opportunity to gain insight into life itself through these children as a channel to access the information that we can't access by our own devices, we will treat it in an entirely different way.
The children look up to you, and you're definitely their role model, and just let the kid be a kid. I mean, if it gets out of control, yeah, but just be patient and let them be themselves.
Many indigos are in trouble right now because of their intuitive ability, that they're picking up things that other people don't pick up on, and if this is not acknowledged and accepted, they begin to self-medicate. Drugs, alcohol are ways that they use to self-medicate. So the parent must learn how to communicate and also make sure that they have taken enough training to know how to communicate well.
It's really okay as a parent to not know the answer. It's really okay to say, hey, I really love my kids, but you know, I wanted to have a different life. Or it's really okay to say, my child's pretty strange, and I don't know what to do with that. All of that's okay. But there has to be something afterwards if you want to be nurturing to your child. And I think then the next step is to say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
If there was one gift that a parent could give a child that would have lasting value and lifelong effect and impact, I think it would be the parent's presence. And by that I don't mean the number of hours or the number of days each week that you're there with your child, but that when you are there with your child, if it's only for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, you are completely, totally, and utterly present and open to the authentic experience of that moment.
if you don't start with you, you're just going to pass this problem down to your child. So you've got to find a way to get rid of all that out of you so that when you look at your child, you see gorgeous. You know, and there's lots of ways to do that. I mean, you can do it through books and meditation, but basically you have to say, every time I feel like my child is a problem, I have to go to me and say, why do I see that as a problem, and fix that.